Hi there, how are you? This is Lydia, your health coach. So, this is the second part of the mini series about health science. So, if you haven't listened to the first episode, listen to the episodes first. Because this episode is about my second year of university in health science, where I'm gonna share 10 lessons I've learned that I find interesting for you to know. So, as I said in the previous episode, I am already an occupational therapist and a health coach, but I choose to do another bachelor degree because I want to be a really, really good health coach and be able to help as much people as I can to become more healthy. So, in this episode, we're gonna dive a bit more deeper in themes like addiction, stress, nutrition, also environmental health, and also health coaching. So some of these lessons are gonna be a little bit more out of the box, because I know you probably already have a lot of knowledge about health. So I'm not just going to share very basic health topics because this is not what my podcast is about. I really want you to understand health so you can actually change it. The first thing I want to share with you is about cravings. It's very interesting because often cravings are not about enjoying. So often you crave something like unhealthy food or maybe screen time, and it's not because you actually really enjoy or this is gonna make you feel better. Is just a pattern that you've built on dopamine, and it has become somehow a pattern or an addiction. And you know, the hormone dopamine is connected with wanting something, the anticipation of enjoyment. And this dopamine has a really strong impact on our nervous system and the way our brain works. And this can explain why you sometimes reach for your phone for screen time, why you're reaching for snacks, why you're reaching for another podcast episode when you're binge watching your not your podcast, sorry, when you're binge watching your series on your TV. Maybe you're also binge listening to my series, that's also good. But anyway, you know, often this is a really complicated pattern where you have to really understand that this is not just a simple thing anymore. You have built a certain addiction based on dopamine. And once your brain has had some of the dopamine, it just wants more. So in the past, maybe snacks or phone time or screen time have given you dopamine, and that's why your brain is craving again for more screen time, more snacks, and more TV episodes. And see, this isn't entirely a choice anymore because it has become something more complicated that we have to unwind. For example, when you look at your phone habits, I know that a lot of you are having difficulties with screen time, and these apps and this screen has been made to be addictive. And it's not just a choice anymore because, for example, your notifications or the apps on your home screen, these are all gonna trigger you to want to know whose notifications are these. They trigger you when you open your phone to open certain apps, and this is all really made by very intelligent people to make you more addictive to these things. So be very careful when you do actions without thinking, and try to reflect on why are you actually getting your phone? Why are you actually snacking, and why are you watching another episode? Is this because you truly enjoy this, or is this maybe an addiction that's based on dopamine? So be more conscious about your habits during the day, especially those that have become automatic and don't really nurture your health in any way. The second one is about pain. A lot of my clients experience pain, and I have worked a long time in a psychiatric hospital, and there's actually so many people with anxiety and depression who experience a lot of physical pain that often doctors don't know where this pain is coming from. And this is because sometimes your pain can be very intense, or you can experience pain without having had like an accident or a wound or whatever. That is because the nervous system is involved. If you have experienced trauma or chronic stress or something like that, your nervous system is not balanced and is very sensitive. And that means that you can experience a lot of pain. And this pain is real for you, but it doesn't have a physical cause anymore. And this is how a lot of people experience pain. And I just want to say that if you have this, I see you, and I know that for you the pain is real. For the doctor sometimes it doesn't seem real, but it is very real. And often we're trying to look for a physical cause to cause this, to help to relieve this pain. But a lot of times it is more of an emotional or mental cause that we have to look at. I'm not saying that this is for everybody, but balancing the nervous system is one of the best things you can do. And this will have a better, this will be good also for your sleep, for your stress management. Having a balanced nervous system will give you more energy, like it will create better eating habits. Is really important to have a balanced nervous system. Maybe you have no clue what I'm talking about. So your nervous system is the system that can be stressed or alert when there's danger, but it also can be relaxed when it feels safe. And because there's a lot of stress in our society and a lot of pressure, it's often being overstimulated, so more in like fight or active mode, and this can be very tiring for the body when this keeps on going without breaks. So yeah, the next one is about body weight. I think that when you look at social media, body weight and having like a sculpted gym body has become again extremely focused on. I thought in the past we were, having more of a positive idea around body image. And, now I feel that in the wellness and health scene, people are again obsessed with weight and with muscle and so on. And I feel that social media is trying to say that your weight is 100% your own individual problem, and it's really important that you need to be disciplined. But I see a lot of women and men too that they can seem to lose weight even though they work out, even though they're really trying. And often they end up maybe even almost starving themselves trying to lose weight, to go into calorie deficit. Oh my God. You know what I mean. But there's a lot of more factors that influence you. It's not just about discipline. When we go back to the last lesson, when your nervous system is unbalanced and oversensitive, your body actually wants to protect you and is going to save fat to protect you. Because if your body thinks that you're in a stressful situation, maybe you're sick, maybe there's extreme environmental circumstances or whatever, your body rather wants to keep some fat to keep you safe for in hard times than lose fat. Especially for women, because we need to carry a child, our body wants to keep the fat, especially to protect our organs and to protect a possible birth, possible growth of a child and birth. So sometimes the answer for losing weight is not to be much harder on yourself, but being more balanced. Adding maybe a meditation during your week instead of another gym session. Instead of eating less, maybe eating more, but more healthy. More vegetables, more fruits, more whole wheat, more whole grain foods instead of eating just salad with tomatoes. And there's a lot of other things to look at, this genetics, hormones, medication, environments. It's not that simple, honestly. That's why a lot of people struggle with losing weight. Voila. And just to say, when I'm talking about losing weight, I'm talking about losing fat, right? Because this is what most people want. Because often when you work out a lot, sometimes you earn more weight because you're actually building muscle, and muscle is more heavy than fat. So when you go a lot of times to the gym and you do strength exercises, you're gonna increase your muscle and decrease your fat, but you're still gonna weigh more. So this is also something to be attentive of. Then the fourth one is also connected to the last two ones. It's again about stress and recovery. Stress is not necessarily something bad. Stress is something that is okay, is natural. Every animal, every human being has stress in its life. And there's actually no problem with stress. Our body is very good at handling stress. But the problem is the chronic stress. So short-term stress isn't unhealthy. It isn't a problem. Really, not at all, honestly. Our body can take it. It's kind of a good challenge sometimes even. But where we go wrong is the recovery. We go from work straight into bicycling home, straight to going to the grocery shop, straight to eating and making dinner, straight to putting our kids in bed, and straight to binge watching a series and straight to bed. So where in this whole day did we take a moment to recover? None. No recovery time. So this is really important, that you can have a full day, but take breaks. Literally breaks, not phone breaks. Go outside for a 5-minute walk. Go downstairs and make a nice tea for yourself and look outside in the garden and breathe a little bit. Go talk with your colleague for 5 minutes. Sit with your children at home and say that you're gonna do mindfulness exercises for 5 minutes, and everybody's just gonna be quiet for 5 minutes and going to breathe. They don't have to meditate, but you can meditate at that moment. Doesn't matter what, but make sure you have breaks. Don't work on your laptop 8 hours straight. Every hour you put an alarm clock on your phone and you walk around for a couple of minutes. Maybe you tidy something up in your room if you work from home. Maybe you go to the hot water kettle at your work to make some tea, whatever. Take breaks. Because if you're constantly in a productive masculine mode where you're just hustling from one thing to the other, this is gonna create chronic stress. So you don't have to necessarily do less. We really are able to handle a lot, but recovery is this is worth gold, especially if you're looking at long term to, for burnout prevention and for your immunity system. This is really important. So try, when you are taking a break, that you are not being on your screen. Screen time is not a break, not at all, because screens are stimulating and on multiple levels. Mentally, for your eyes, it's not healthy for your ergonomic posture. It's not gonna calm your nervous system at all. It's actually gonna ask a lot of energy. So please be mindful of your screen time, especially during breaks. And don't be on your phone while you're eating. Eating can be such a mindful, nice moment during the day. You eat 3 times a day. Don't be on a screen. Maybe when you're like when you are like single and you're eating 3 times a day alone, maybe it's okay if you read a book. Maybe it's okay if you like call your mother while you're eating or whatever. This is fine. I don't mind this. But you're not gonna go on social media when you are eating your food. Please be mindful. This is like, I see food as like a gift of 3 breaks a day that you are always sure of. So protect them. Oh, the other one is interesting. Number 5. A healthy label doesn't necessarily mean that a product is healthy. So a healthy label on a product doesn't actually mean that it's healthy. It's just marketing. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when it has a certain health claim or like health label, it could be healthy. But when it says, for example, like in the store where I live, we have a product that's called natural soy milk. And you would think that the natural soy milk would be the one without sugar, and then that the sugary soy milk would be the one with added sugar. But no, the natural soy milk is the one with sugar. And then we have the one that says soy milk with 0 added sugar. That's the sugar-free one. So be very mindful for packaging. They are trying to sell you something, and sugar is cheap. People like sugar, so sugar has been put in so many things, in canned food, in sauces, sometimes even in hummus, stuff like that. Like there's sugar in everything. So read your ingredient labels and become more educated about the ingredients in your food instead of believing claims and packaging. Like sometimes I see this product in the store and it says like, oh, this yogurt is high protein, and it seems like this yogurt is really good for people who go to the gym and work out. And nowadays there's this trend about protein maxing, and everybody wants to have more protein. So, oh my God, this is gonna be really healthy. And then you look at the ingredients, and yes, for sure, this may be a little bit more protein than in normal yogurt. So this is nice, I guess, if you need the protein, because not everybody needs extra protein. But then it's full of shit. It's had all these additives, added sugars, added flavor, added coloring. It's just shit. So you would rather actually just have a normal yogurt, a sugar-free normal yogurt, especially the ones from the farms are really good. I buy mine in the farmer's market. It's just like €1.50 or something, super cheap. It's not pasteurized. It's 100% pure. It doesn't have anything added to it, just yogurt. Why is this so difficult to find this in the supermarket? So better to buy just a normal yogurt without sugar and flavor than to buy this high protein yogurt that's then full of rubbish. Sorry for my bad words before. So please, be more critical. The whole supermarket is full of marketing that wants to influence us to think that we are gonna be more healthy, but instead rely on your own gut feeling and your own eyes and your reading skills, and become more educated about food. The next one is something that we need to be mindful of. It is about multitasking. So lesson number 6 is multitasking may be why you are feeling mentally exhausted. What I see is that we are not doing activities separate anymore. We are trying to do everything at once, and this is actually costing us a lot of energy and time, because energy is time. And we are constantly switching between this and that. For example, when you are watching TV, maybe you're watching a movie, and in the past, when we watched a movie, we were just watching a movie. Maybe we were talking sometimes a little bit with the person next to us. But nowadays, what I see is that people have their phones with them, and half of the time they're on their phone. Maybe they're on Tinder or on Instagram or whatever. They're scrolling, and they are watching the movie. since when have we become like this? This is so mentally draining for your brain, because a movie is supposed to be relaxing. It's gonna ask some attention of you because it's a blue screen. And yeah, screen time anyway is not that healthy, but at least a movie is relaxing, especially if you're watching it with a partner or a friend or a children, whatever. But if you're then having your phone with you, your brain now has to constantly switch between screen time on your television and screen time on your phone, which is not about the same story. So constantly your brain has to switch different stories, different topics quickly. And this is gonna feel mentally exhausting. And this is called switching costs. And this means that every time that you switch fast between tasks, there's gonna be a cost of energy. And this is gonna make you feel mentally drained. So try to just do one activity. Can you do that? I know some people are quite chaotic in their mind and they need to do multiple times at the same time. And I'm sure that some personality types need this more than other people. But be careful that this is not an excuse. We need to train ourselves. How can I say this? We need to train our own behavior and our own patterns. When we're children, maybe your mother and father are going to help us with this, but when we're adult, we are the ones who need to do this. So even when you're somebody who has a quite chaotic mind, actually maybe you would be even more beneficial of sometimes doing one activity in a time to actually calm you down, because this is actually what you need. You actually need more peace time, because there's already so many times during the day that you are quite chaotic or multitasking of doing like this and that and this and that. So you actually are a great person to do meditation or yoga or evening walks to calm you down. So I hear this so many times of my clients or in my friend groups, that people just say, oh, but I have like ADHD, even if they don't have a label, or oh, this is just who I am, or I'm just chaotic. And then you see that these people, they don't sleep good, they have neck problems, they are actually on constant stress. So if this is you, I'm sorry to put it in your face like that, but be more mindful of multitasking. And think back about one of the last lessons about recovery time. The next one, number 7. A healthy meal should leave you satisfied. I feel that when people are eating healthy, they're just thinking about, oh, nutritious wise, it just should be healthy and I should eat that, blah, blah, blah. But healthy food is more than that. Healthy food can be very tasteful if you put attention to it and if you learn how. We need to eat enough instead of eating restricted. This is one of the worst things that I see people do, is when they're trying to become more healthy, instead of eating the same amount, they're eating a lot less. Now, if you're really overweight and you're eating like an elephant, yeah, for sure, you can eat less. But normal people, instead of restricting on food and going from a whole food and a whole meal to just salads and tomatoes, it's much better to stick to a whole meal, but just add more nutritious food. Like just change the food to more nutritious food and don't try to eat smaller portions, because those smaller portions are gonna give your body a lot of stress. Maybe you're not gonna receive enough nutrition, and maybe you're gonna be very sad because you're hungry. So this is interesting. Try to eat regularly. Don't do fasting all the time to lose weight. For a good nervous system and for healthy weight loss, it's actually good to eat regularly so you don't experience stress. Try to enjoy your food. Try to make it something that you enjoy doing groceries, you enjoy making it, and you enjoy eating it. So it's not another restriction, but actually something that, leaves you satisfied. Oh, the next one. I'm so sorry about this, but this is a hard one. Number 8. One workout is not going to replace all movement through the day. I see people going to very extreme gym sessions and then sitting the whole day. I see people getting up, getting behind their laptop, maybe driving their car to work, sitting behind their laptop there, sitting all day. Then when they have food, they are sitting. Then they're sitting again behind the laptop. They're sitting for meetings. Then they go in their car, they sit again, and they go to the gym with their car. Then they have a really good gym session, which is really good. I'm not going to be negative about this. But then after the gym session, they take their car again, they're at home, and they sit behind the screen. And then they sleep. This lifestyle is for sure more healthy than somebody who's not gonna go to the gym. If you're doing all of this and you don't do any movement, you're in big trouble. You should really, really start to move your body. But then the second part is we think that one workout is gonna help us. How can I say this that it's understandable? Like, I think we have the wrong idea of what healthy movement is. It's actually really important that movement is actually a mindset, something that we put into every day and even every moment. For example, I'm somebody who sits a long time on my laptop because I'm a health coach and I create a lot of content. I create my podcasts, I do one-on-one coaching. This is all sitting. So what I notice is that if I'm not mindful about this, I actually begin having this restless leg syndrome, that I really have like cramps in my legs, painful legs, and I feel that when I'm laying in my bed, my legs just don't feel good because I'm just sitting too much. So what I do is every half an hour, or if I don't have as much time, every hour, I put an alarm clock and I actually get up and walk around, do some stretches, go on and off the stairs, or maybe do even a short walk. And this is really important. Even when you're sitting, it's much better when you're at home and you have the choice to lay on your bed 1 hour with the laptop than to maybe sit at your desk 1 hour. Maybe you have a standing desk, that would be even better. Then you can sit on the couch for 1 hour. So changing the way you sit is also better than just sitting at the same chair for 8 hours straight without any movement. It is about when you're taking the train that you're choosing to take the steps instead of the elevator or the escalator. It is about when you take the bus, getting one stop off more early, so you need to walk 5 or 10 minutes. It is about when you're taking your car, you put your car one street further away, so you have to walk to your car. So I'm not saying you have to do these necessarily, but look at your life and look where you can put in small movements, because one workout is not going to make your body healthy. It's not going to erase all of that sitting time. Long sitting is one of the worst things we can do for our body. It's actually really unhealthy. So try to make movement something that is like interwoven with your daily life, and instead of just trying to solve everything with 1 or 2 gym sessions a week. And the more you do this, the more this becomes an automatic. So when you want to take the train, maybe instead of automatically taking the automatic escalator, now you're going to automatically take the stairs, because that's just who you are. That's just what you do. So, yeah. Number 9, being harder on yourself may make your change more difficult. So the whole health transformation is not about hustling and pushing yourself to be healthy and being very hard on yourself, because this is actually going to create a lot of negative feelings and emotions around trying to be healthy, and it's going to demotivate you, and maybe even make you experience like shame or resistance or frustration. So when you want to be more healthy, try to connect with your core values around why you want to be healthy. Instead of thinking, why is this not working? Why am I failing? Why am I so undisciplined? Maybe you can think, oh, what can make my movement more fun today? What would I love to do that is healthy? What healthy food do I love to make? Or even thinking, what made this difficult today that I maybe can, help myself with. Be more compassionate with yourself. Also, when there's a setback, when you have a day that is not as well as before, try to give yourself some slack and just keep on going in a healthy, positive way, and give yourself the time to change and not put too much pressure and criticism on yourself. Really, you're probably gonna be the only one that's gonna be there to congratulate you when you go running, when you go to the gym, when you eat more healthy. So do that all the time. Be more kind to yourself, celebrate yourself, and really be so proud of every single step that you take in your health journey. This is gonna motivate you the most. Then the 10th one is from one of my courses that is called Environmental Factors in Health. And I just noticed that this was a really big subject where we learned about everything in the environment that influences our health. And in the episodes before, I talked about, for example, your environment at home, or the supermarket or packaging. This is all environmental factors. But another thing that is something that we barely notice that actually affects us is noise. Background noise may actually affect you even when you barely notice this. So what I'm thinking about is people who live in maybe an environment that has a lot of noise. Maybe you have a lot of roommates in your co-housing that are constantly putting on music. Or maybe, what else could it be? Maybe you're constantly putting on music the whole day, or your partner's putting on music the whole day. And then maybe you are living in a family where the television is on the whole day. This is all constant information that your brain has to process, and it's actually quite challenging for your nervous system. And your nervous system actually needs a lot of more silence moments. I know some people who are addicted to music, and that's not necessarily bad, but they cannot do anything without music. They need to do their hobbies with music, they're cooking with music, they're working with music, everything has to be combined with music. And I just want to say that when you're somebody who's really tired and overstimulated, this is something you possibly could let go of, because constant noise, even if it's music, is just tiring you out. So try to experiment with a few moments during the day where we actually experience silence. I think in life before phones and before social media, there were so many silent moments during the day. I think about, people who would commute with the train, or who would walk to the bus station or whatever. There's so many moments in the past that we just wouldn't do anything, and nowadays we try to fill all of those moments up with music or with screen time, like scrolling, and just try to build in some silence moments during the day. So you see that these 10 lessons have a little bit of an overlap sometimes in between, and this was what I found really interesting about my studies, is that I was already before 100% convinced that health is holistic, that sleep and food and movement, that is all intertwined, that mental and physical health are intertwined. But I just noticed with this study that there's so many more in-depth psychological and behavioral patterns underneath health and unhealthy behavior that are also all connected. And I hope that in these 2 episodes, I could share some of my expertise that I now have extra because of this university degree. Because I think the more we understand health, the more we can actually change it. It's really not about knowing more, it's about understanding more. And then I'm here if you need help, if you need support, and if you actually need somebody who is understanding all of these behavioral methods and know how to change these. I'm always here for you if you have any questions, or if you want to do one-on-one coaching with me. I'm here for you, no pressure. I just want you to receive a lot of good tips in this podcast episodes. That's the most important thing for me. So if you like this episode, the best thing you could do for me is give this podcast a 5-star review. That would help me so that other people can also find these, interesting health tips. So share this with somebody who might also need this perspective. And I see you in the next episode. Have an amazing day.